All right, a very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on Late Night Talk. My name is Kofi Bartels. How are you? How was your day? How is your night going? Well, my day has been fantastic and my night couldn't be better. Why? Because I am here with you, and there's no place I'd rather be, of course, except with someone special. But I'm happy to be with you tonight on the show. We will be looking at hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine is a drug that has become a political issue. It has become a political issue. This could be the first time that a drug will be determining who becomes the next president of the United States of America. My name once again is Kofi Bartels. A Nigerian-trained doctor, Stella Immanuel, on Monday said she had successfully treated more than 350 people in the United States with coronavirus using the drug hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax. Hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax. Now, Immanuel disclosed this when she addressed the press after America's Frontline Doctors Summit in front of the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. on Monday, July 27. She addressed the press. And the video went viral. The video was all over the internet, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram. And guess what? These social media sites took down the video. That's right. They took down the video. Now, my guest tonight, his job is simple: to tell us whether hydroxychloroquine can cure coronavirus and the other drugs that Dr. Stella Immanuel has talked about. But it's not just become a health issue, it has also become a political issue. And this could be the first time a drug, a medication could determine who becomes the next president of the world's most powerful country. You're welcome once again. My guest tonight is not a stranger to this program. He's a public health physician, and he is with the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education. His name is Dr. B.A. Briggs. Dr. Briggs, good evening to you.
Good evening, and good evening to our listeners.
All right, Dr. Briggs, did I get the introduction right?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So, Dr. Briggs, I'd like you to hold on whilst we play the video, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners or viewers have seen before, but we just want to refresh our minds and know what exactly it is we're talking about. But if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my page, my channel, and also like the video you're watching right now. Share the link so that others can be a part of it, and drop a comment. If you're watching on Facebook, please like my page, drop a comment, and share the post. Also, please hit the notification bell on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the notification button so that each time I'm live, you will be notified. And please comment and share the post so that you can help me grow and also help your friends who want to be part of something like this see what we're doing, and then they can also have their say. And very importantly, drop a comment. If you're watching on Twitter, please drop a comment, retweet as well, and like this video, because I like to read from you on Instagram as well. So let's get straight to Madam Dr. Stella Immanuel in the United States of America, and let's hear what she had to say.
You know the crazy part? A lot of the doctors that are sitting down going, hydroxychloroquine doesn't work, they're actually taking the prophylaxis. I know, I have put a lot of them on it. They are taking prophylaxis. They and their families are protected, and they're busy telling Americans, well, we can't prescribe it because, I'm scared for my license. But you know what? This is the even good part. You see, what's his name? That dude on CNN that got sick? What's his name again? Andrew Cuomo's brother, the crazy one. That dude, I knew he took hydroxychloroquine. Do you know why? He kept saying that he was having nightmares. I knew he took some form of hydroxychloroquine, or one of them, probably the bad version. These people are taking hydroxychloroquine. I dare everyone in DC, or you talking heads on CNN, give me a urine sample. If I check your urine and you don't have hydroxychloroquine in your urine, then ask America not to take it. You senators, all of them, you know why they don't wear masks? Anthony Fauci can sit around not wear masks because they are all on hydroxychloroquine. They know it, but they want Americans to die. So let's get it. I dare every single one. You know the crazy part? A lot of the doctors that are sitting down going, hydroxychloroquine doesn't work, they're actually taking the prophylaxis. I know, I have put a lot of them on it. They are taking prophylaxis. They and their families are protected, and they're busy telling Americans, well, we can't prescribe it because, I'm scared for my license. But you know what? This is the even good part. You see, what's his name? That dude on CNN that got sick? What's his name again? Andrew Cuomo's brother, the crazy one. That dude, I knew he took hydroxychloroquine. Do you know why? He kept saying that he was having nightmares. I knew he took some form of hydroxychloroquine, or one of them, probably the bad version. These people are taking hydroxychloroquine. I dare everyone in DC, or you talking heads on CNN, give me a urine sample. If I check your urine and you don't have hydroxychloroquine in your urine, then ask America not to take it. You senators, all of them, you know why they don't wear masks? Anthony Fauci can sit around not wear masks because they are all on hydroxychloroquine. They know it, but they want Americans to die. So let's get it. I dare every single one. You know the crazy part? A lot of the doctors that are sitting down going, hydroxychloroquine doesn't work, they're actually taking the prophylaxis. I know, I have put a lot of them on it. They are taking prophylaxis. They and their families are protected, and they're busy telling Americans, well, we can't prescribe it because, I'm scared for my license. But you know what? This is the even good part. You see, what's his name? That dude on CNN that got sick? What's his name again? Andrew Cuomo's brother, the crazy one. That dude, I knew he took hydroxychloroquine. Do you know why? He kept saying that he was having nightmares. I knew he took some form of hydroxychloroquine, or one of them, probably the bad version. These people are taking hydroxychloroquine. I dare everyone in DC, or you talking heads on CNN, give me a urine sample. If I check your urine and you don't have hydroxychloroquine in your urine, then ask America not to take it. You senators, all of them, you know why they don't wear masks? Anthony Fauci can sit around not wear masks because they are all on hydroxychloroquine. They know it, but they want Americans to die. So let's get it. I dare every single one. You know the crazy part? A lot of the doctors that are sitting down going, hydroxychloroquine doesn't work, they're actually taking the prophylaxis. I know, I have put a lot of them on it. They are taking prophylaxis. They and their families are protected, and they're
Okay. So what's going on, Doc? You've seen these videos. People have them on their phones, they're on WhatsApp, but the major social media sites like YouTube and Twitter, Periscope, they've taken these videos down. What is going on? Is there a grand plan to kill people, just to cut down with some clandestine plan by the rich, folks, the establishment, Fauci and Bill Gates and all that? What's going on?
Well, I'm not in that circle of people that that are in that plan, but there has been conspiracy theories everywhere, both in Nigeria and other parts of the world, that there are people that have the perfected clandestine motive to, make money off COVID-19 through the development of vaccines and all that. So, in the development of vaccine, people have invested billions of dollars into it and hope to make money out of it.
Really?
So if any cure comes out before the vaccine comes out, then of course their investments would have been in vain. So
sorry. Can you repeat yourself?
Theorists,
you're saying what?
that is, I am telling you that is what the conspiracy theorists, those who believe in the conspiracy theories, that's what they are proposing. That's their mind. That there are some powerful individuals and corporate organizations around the world that have put in so much money in the development of vaccines against COVID-19. And if before the vaccines are developed, if any of that cure comes out, it means that their investment would have gone down the drain. So of course, they will fight anything that is in their interest. Looking at it from that point of view. So
that is a conspiracy theory, is what you say?
That is a conspiracy theory. Nobody knows whether or not it is true, but that's what has been going on around the world. So it's not only something. It's not something that has to do with only Nigeria or Nigerians. It's a feeling that has crossed the various continents of the world. So whether or not it is true, we are yet to find that out. But it's good to say that for now, WHO, who are charged with the responsibility of securing global health, have said that there is no cure for COVID-19, no vaccine yet to prevent COVID-19, and that vaccines are different stages of development as we speak. Until as of today, prevention still remains the key to prevent and to mitigating the spread of COVID-19 and its attendant complications. One, the use of face mask, washing of hands with soap and water, use of alcohol-based hand sanitizers, social distancing. Okay? So for now, those are the health advices that have been given by WHO, and that is what we stand by as health professionals until such a time when researchers will be out and then gives us something new, then we can do that.
Okay.
But people have a right to think and to express their opinions. People have a right to have a say in what concerns their health, whether rightly or wrongly. So they have the right to express whatever views and ideas they hold, and I would not blame anybody for that.
Okay, Dr. Briggs, you've released some subtle bullets, and we'll come to that because I want to pick your brain on those bullets you've released. But if you're just joining us, thank you very much for your time. The whole controversy surrounding hydroxychloroquine as a drug to treat coronavirus is real, and this Nigerian doctor has jumped up into the consciousness of the world. She's probably the most popular doctor after Dr. Fauci in the world right now. This lady, in fact, Donald Trump retweeted the information that this woman put out. It's really amazing what is happening as far as the Nigerian doctor is concerned, and she's become a crusader, for the far right in the United States of America, and with even Trump retweeting that video. Before I go to my next question, I want to ask those of you watching, please drop your comments. If you're watching online, wherever you're watching right now, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, please drop your comments, and I'll be very glad to read them. I want to read one here or two before I go to the next question. Austin Joe, good evening to you. Please share this post if you're watching right now. Please share this post. It's very important. Austin Joe says the woman talked with certainty. She never spoke like someone who wasn't sure of her assertions. So there is more than meets the eyes. Effort in this source says good evening. Thank you. Goldus Johnson says vaccine business is $1 billion business and not a year thing. Okay. Is this in response to what my guest said right now? Goldus, can you explain what you mean by that, please? Thank you very much. Hakot Nadi says there's some truth our leaders need to tell us. If this woman is certain with her claims, why not give those drugs a trial? And Mark Dera has put something I can't understand. Is it Yoruba or is that Ikwere? I don't know. But anyway, Dr. Briggs, can you tell us about this drug, hydroxychloroquine? What exactly is it?
Hydroxychloroquine belongs to a class of drugs we call 4-aminophenolones. You see, it is in the same class of drugs as chloroquine that we use for primarily, especially in Nigeria, primarily we use it for the treatment and prevention of malaria. But it can also be, it can also be used in other inflammatory conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis, and then because systemic lupus erythematosus, that is a very big one. That's just an autoimmune disease.
Okay, Doc, your line isn't too clear, and you're a bit too fast for those of us who didn't study medicine in school. Can you slow down again? You said this drug is used to treat malaria.
Yes, primarily hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine. I've said that they both belong to the class 4 aminoquinolines. So they are used primarily for the treatment of malaria, treatment and prevention of malaria. But especially hydroxychloroquine can also be used for the treatment of what we normally call rheumatism. What we call it in medicine is rheumatoid arthritis, when you have swelling and pains in the joints of the body.
Oh, really?
It can also be used. So it has been in use for more than 6 decades now. 6 decades now. Okay. But until recently, about 2 or almost 3 decades ago, chloroquine was a drug of choice, for the treatment of malaria. But over time, we discovered that the plasmodium that causes malaria developed resistance to chloroquine. That was when the treatment modality changed from malaria to artemisinin-based combination therapy, ACT. Okay,
artemisinin-based
combination therapy, ACT.
Okay.
Yes, before the advent of ACT, chloroquine was the drug of choice for the treatment of malaria.
Okay.
But over time, the plasmodium developed resistance, so chloroquine was not as effective as it used to be. So that led to the development of artemisinin-based combination therapy, which is to say that we don't use one drug to treat malaria anymore. We must combine it, and the combination must include an artemisinin. Okay. So if you look at any of the anti-malaria medications that are in the market today, you will always see an artemisinin component of the combination.
Okay, so all this artemether, artemisinin, all these artesonates, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Artemether, lumenfantrine, and all those.
Yes. So, but I quite recently too, I've still, because it's been almost 25 to 30 years since ACT was introduced in the treatment of malaria, especially in this part of the world. So I've seen some physicians say that they go back to chloroquine and use chloroquine, and chloroquine is effective again now. Okay, but it's not widespread though. It's not widespread, but it's still in use. All right. So basically, chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine is for the treatment of malaria, although it can also be used in treatment of rheumatoid arthritis and other inflammatory conditions.
Okay.
So that is it about the drug.
So basically, what you're saying is that this drug was used to treat malaria in the past.
Yes.
Okay. And then now
it's still in use, but it's not first line drug anymore. Now the first line drugs are the ACTs. So it has not gone below. It's not as if we don't use it at all. It's still in use, but the use is reduced because of most times people that like when I was a child, when I take chloroquine, it does give me itching of the body, generalized itching. So because of that, I never. Those days. It used to be.
Your body will be itching. You see, my body is scratching me. My body is scratching me.
Yes, and it used to frustrate me a lot. So when we had a better medication, so everybody just abandoned it because most people had that reaction to chloroquine. But even till now, there are still some people that tolerate it and still use it. It has not been banned as it were before now. But because of the side effect that was noticed in Nigeria, we heard at some point that NAFDAC banned the use of chloroquine in Nigeria.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yes.
Because of the side effects?
Until the advent of COVID-19 in Nigeria, they now have approved chloroquine for randomized control trials to see if it's going to be a treatment of COVID-19. The results are yet to be published. The findings are yet to be published. So it was just for that reason that chloroquine was, given approval to be produced again in this country. Okay. Otherwise, at some point, it was banned.
Okay. So the ban was just because of the scratching, itching, or were there other side effects that came about as the use of chloroquine then that led to it being banned?
I wouldn't be sure the exact reason, but I know that generally chloroquine is safe. Chloroquine is very, very safe, apart from the minor side effects. But I don't know the reason why NAFDAC decided to ban chloroquine in Nigeria. But in other places, chloroquine is being used, as well as hydroxychloroquine.
Okay. All right. If you're watching right now, what do you think about this? I'd like you to drop your message, and maybe later on you can call. But please drop your message right now, because I'd like us to listen to the second video from this woman. She gave a press conference, and we'll come back and look at some facts and details about this lady. And then I want Doc to now tell us, because Doc, you said, WHO, NCDC, but we'll explore whether we really need to follow these people, whether they have their interests, because they also take, NCDC takes directives, from the World Health Organization. Am I correct?
Absolutely,
yes. So we would have to be sure. Do we need to listen to these people or not? So stay with us. Let's watch this video, and then we'll be back.
All right.
Hello, I'm Dr. Stella Immanuel. I'm a primary care physician in Houston, Texas. I actually went to medical school in West Africa, Nigeria, where I took care of malaria patients, treated them with hydroxychloroquine and stuff like that. So I'm actually used to these medications. I'm here because I have personally treated over 350 patients with COVID. Patients that have diabetes, patients that have high blood pressure, patients that have asthma, old people. I think my oldest patient is 92, 87-year-olds. And the result has been the same. I put them on hydroxychloroquine, I put them on zinc, I put them on Zithromax, and they are all well. For the past few months, I've taken care of over 350 patients. We've not lost one. Not a diabetic, not somebody with high blood pressure, not somebody with asthma, not an old person. We've not lost one patient. And on top of that, I've put myself, my staff, and many doctors that I know on hydroxychloroquine for prevention, because by the very mechanism of action, it works early and as a prophylaxis. We see patients, 10 to 15 COVID patients every day. We give them breathing treatments. We only wear surgical masks. None of us has gotten sick. It works. So right now, I came here to Washington, D.C. to say, America, nobody needs to die. The study that made me start using hydroxychloroquine was a study that they did under the NIH in 2005 that say it works. Recently, I was doing some research about a patient that had hiccups, and I found out that they even did a recent study in the NIH, which is our National Institute, that is the National NIH, National Institute of Health. They actually had a study, and go look it up. Type hiccups and COVID, you will see it. They treated a patient that had hiccups with hydroxychloroquine, and it proved that COVID is a symptom of hiccups. It's a symptom of COVID. So if the NIH knows that treating the patient with hydroxychloroquine proves that hiccup is a symptom of COVID, then they definitely know that hydroxychloroquine works. I'm upset. Why I'm upset is that I see people that cannot breathe. I see parents walk in, I see diabetics sit in my office knowing that this is a death sentence and they can't breathe. And I hug them and I tell them it's going to be okay, you're going to live. And we treat them and they live. None has died. So if some fake science, some person sponsored by all these fake pharma companies comes out and say, oh, we've done studies and they found out that it doesn't work, I can tell you categorically it's fake science. I want to know who is sponsoring that study. I want to know who is behind it. Because there is no way I can treat 350 patients and counting and nobody is dead and they all did better. And then you're going to tell me that you treated 20 people, 40 people and it didn't work. I'm a true testimony. So I came here to Washington, D.C. to tell America, nobody needs to get sick. This virus has a cure. It is called hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax. I know people want to talk about mask. Hello? You don't need mask. There is a cure. I know they don't want to open schools. No, you don't need people to be locked down. There is prevention and there is a cure. And let me tell you something. All you fake doctors out there that tell me, oh yeah, I want a double-blinded studies. I just tell you, quit sounding like a computer, double-blinded. I don't know whether your chips are malfunctioning, but I'm a real doctor. I have radiologists, we have plastic surgeons, we have neurosurgeons like Sanjay Gupta saying, oh yeah, it doesn't work and it causes heart disease. Let me ask you, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, hear me. Have you ever seen a COVID patient? Have you ever treated anybody with hydroxychloroquine and they died from heart disease? When you do, come and talk to me. Because I sit down in my clinic every day and I see these patients walk in every day, scared to death. I see people driving 2-3 hours to my clinic because some ER doctor is scared of the Texas board or they are scared of something and they will not prescribe medication to these people. I tell all of you doctors that are sitting down and watching Americans die, you're like the good Nazis, the good Germans that watch Jews get killed and you did not speak up. If they come after me, they threaten me. They've threatened to, I've gotten all kinds of threats. Oh, they're going to report me to the boards. I say, you know what, I don't care. I'm not going to let Americans die. And if this is the mountain, if this is the hill where I get nailed on, I will get nailed on it. I don't care. You can report me to the boards, you can kill me, you can do whatever, but I'm not going to let Americans die. And today I'm here to say it, that America, there is a cure for COVID. All this foolishness does not need to happen. There is a cure for COVID. There is a cure for COVID. It's called hydroxychloroquine, it's called zinc, it's called Zithromax. And it is time for the grassroots to wake up and say, no, we're not going to take this any longer. We're not going to die. Because let me tell you something. When somebody is dead, they are dead. They're not coming back tomorrow to have an argument. They're not coming back tomorrow to discuss the double-blinded study and the data. All of you doctors that are waiting for data, if 6 months down the line, you actually found out that this data shows that this medication works, how about your patients that have died? You want a double-blinded study where people are dying? It's unethical. So, guys, we don't need to die. There is a cure for COVID.
Oh my God.
Hello, I'm Dr. Stella Immanuel. I'm a primary care physician in Houston, Texas. You know, I actually went to medical school in West Africa, Nigeria, where I took care of malaria.
No be small thing, no be small thing. Dr. B. Briggs, what do you make of this? This is a woman is spitting fire. She is on fire.
She's spitting fire, but
fire and brimstone, actually.
exactly. But
fire and brimstone.
But I would like to argue from both ends.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to argue for and against.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll give my personal opinion. I have a right to have an opinion, don't I?
You do. So start with 4.
Okay, let me start. No. Let me start with against first, please.
Against,
Pardon me. Okay. Now, number one, she is a primary care physician,
mm-hmm.
and that is a general practitioner, because like the way the health system is structured, we have the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary level of care. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the primary care are the primary health care centers in the settings of Nigeria now.
Okay.
The primary health care centers are the primary care people.
All right.
Okay. Then the general hospitals are the secondary centers. And then the UPTH and the RS, UTH, all the teaching hospitals are the tertiary centers. Okay, so basically, the people that come to the primary health care centers are for minor illnesses, those that have uncomplicated cases. Okay, mm-hmm. Even when complicated cases come to primary centers, primary health care centers, they are usually referred to the secondary center. If the secondary center cannot handle it, they are sent to the highest level of care, which is the teaching hospitals. Okay. So she is a primary care physician. So probably the number of the patients she sees are the stable patients.
The stable?
Now, you must also, this very stable COVID-19 patients.
Oh, stable.
Okay. Stable, yes. Stable COVID-19 patients.
Okay,
and do not forget that in the course of this COVID-19 issue and my interactions with you, I've told you that 90% of those who have COVID-19 will recover irrespective of treatment. Yes, even without treatment.
You've been saying that to me for some time.
Yes, I always say there's no time I've been on air that I've not said that. And 90% of people that come down with COVID will recover spontaneously irrespective of treatment. So maybe, just maybe, the 350 patients she saw and treated, there are people that fell under the category of those 90% of people that would have still recovered irrespective of the treatment given. So it may not be a function of the efficacy of hydroxychloroquine, Zithromax, and zinc that she gave to them. I've also said, and it is true, that those that are at risk to dying from COVID-19 are those that have underlying medical conditions, such as hypertension, diabetes, asthma, cancers, pulmonary tuberculosis, HIV, and all other medical conditions. That's why those that causes depression of the immune system of the patient. And I don't think she saw any of such patients. All right? Now,
what
for the against.
What makes you think that she didn't see any of such?
I wasn't there. I'm dwelling in the realm of probability.
Is it because maybe she's a primary healthcare?
I'm a doctor, and as a primary care physician, there is a limit to which you can go. Okay, if you see any case that is beyond what a primary care physician should handle, you will refer to a specialist. Okay, a primary care physician is just like a general practitioner. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's just like a general practitioner.
Family doctor that just comes around to see if you have headache, you have.
No, even family physicians are consultants. There's a specialty for family physicians, specialists. Okay. So if any of the patients she had seen had underlying medical conditions, for instance, for hypertension, diabetes, then and their cases are severe, it's not for her to manage. It must be sent to the appropriate discipline for expert management, and that is standard protocol globally. Okay. So that is why I am saying that probably the people that she saw, maybe they had COVID-19, but whether or not she has given them the hydroxychloroquine, Zithromax, and zinc, they may have recovered. Okay, and so maybe it may not have been due to the medications she administered to them. Now that's on the against. Now for the for. For Christ's sake, this is a war. It's a global pandemic.
What?
COVID-19 is a war. An unconventional war that does not require the use of military hardware.
Okay. So a war against who? I want to understand where you're coming from. Between who and who?
A war against human existence.
Okay. All right.
Yes, it's a global pandemic. Every nation on earth is affected. Okay? And as it stands, we do not have any weapon, according to what the WHO is telling us, that we do not have any weapon to wage this war and to come out victorious in the end. They have told, the WHO has said that the end is not in sight. We're going to wait for the next minimum of 2 years before probably, if we are very lucky, a vaccine might be developed. Okay. So before then, what happens? Will people continue to die? And now there is a glimmer of hope. Somebody has to say that we have used this weapon, and we have seen that with this weapon we can defeat our enemy. Rather than exploring that possibility, because you are helpless, there is nothing. Do you understand? You're fighting a war. You don't just sit and wait for the enemy to come and kill you. Even if it's broom that you can use to defend yourself while you wait for scientists to produce bazooka for you, you use it. No, that's common sense.
Okay.
You use it.
Okay.
Then you're not using it. You're discarding it. You're pulling it down. But let me also say this for the record, that in the early stages of COVID-19 in Nigeria, Nigeria sought help from China.
Okay.
And they gave Nigerian government a treatment protocol.
Okay.
Kofi, it will shock you to know that hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax were part of it.
What about this drug called risperidone or something like that?
What?
Risperidone or risperidone, something I see in some prescriptions to treat COVID-19. Risperidone, especially those who are, or risperidone, those who are at home, treating themselves. They tell them to take that kind of. So this was part of China's prescription for Nigeria, for the Nigerian government.
Exactly. Because it was sent to us. We in the various groups that we belong, medical groups.
Okay.
We saw it and they said that it was sent from Ministry of Health. You don't know. It's not everything you believe on. Anyway, but for it to find its way to doctors' platforms, the various platforms, I want to believe that there's an iota of truth about it.
Okay.
So that is the truth. So if we don't have any defense mechanism against COVID-19, and someone comes up to say that I have tested these medications and they have proved effective, why do you shoot it down?
Okay.
Why do you oppose it? Why do you kill it?
Okay.
What's your intention?
But
if your intention is to save lives, why not exploit?
So is this you giving your opinion now, or you just arguing for? Are you yet to give your opinion, or you're still in the area of arguing for?
I am arguing for.
Okay.
I am arguing for.
Okay, Doc. Before you go on, please, I want to just read some comments from some of those who are watching tonight, and then I will go over to another video of this same woman, because she's not just a doctor, but the address where her practice is, her hospital is also where she has her ministry. So look at some of the things that she's also said in the past, and I'll come back to you. I hope that's fine.
Okay. It's absolutely fine.
Okay. I want to welcome all of you who are watching us tonight. I love you so much. My guest tonight to answer the question is, does hydroxychloroquine cure COVID-19? Is none other than a public health physician. He is with the Ignatius Nigerian University of Education right here in River State. Dr. B.A. Briggs, what do you make of this controversy? A Nigerian-trained US-based doctor, Stella Immanuel, on Monday said she had successfully treated more than 350 people. I don't know if Dr. Briggs would agree that it's possible for someone at that level to treat 350 COVID-19 patients, but that is what the doctor said. Doc, is it possible that she's actually treated not less than 350 COVID-19 patients at her level of practice?
Of course, it is possible. Why not?
Okay, fine. So, she says she's treated more than 350 people in the United States with coronavirus using hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax. However, the viral video of the doctor making claims, or her claims, has been banned by a major social media site. So we're asking you tonight, what do you make of this controversy? Is there a conspiracy to kill the truth by silencing the doctor? Are her claims valid? And you can have your say, by calling the number already advertised, or you can drop a comment. So please also do well to share this post. Let's go straight to the comments. I want to read some comments here. Okay, this is Hakot. I think I've read your message. Precious Philip says, give the woman a try and confirm the truth. I think they said they've tried the drug. That's the World Health Organization. Even the American Center for Disease Control, they said they've tried the medication as well, and it does not cure coronavirus. Friday Kangi Ashon, good evening to you. Josephine, good evening to you. He says, give her a chance. Chuksayo says she spoke with intense boldness, so government should give her claims to trial. I'm even beginning to be on her side. Guys, don't go away, because we're going somewhere. Okay, I want you to watch the third video so you understand. God's gift Oluchi Inwachuku says, I remember the first time when I got an itch as a child, I went for a shower and regretted that action. I was rolling on the floor. Oh my, you took chloroquine. Doc, you remember quinine? Doc, are you there?
Quinine is not part of it. Quinine is not in that class.
What was quinine for? Was it not for malaria as well?
It's for malaria, but it's a different class of anti-malaria medication.
Was quinine also itching?
No, quinine does not itch.
We even had quinine tonic back in the day. The children of today would not know. They would know. But I remember then they said, some people, if they take the pill of chloroquine, it will itch them. Some take the injection, chuku, it will itch them. I think mine was, if I take injection, I'll feel the, Okay, thanks for sharing your story, God's gift, with us. Cyril Hart says, WHO says no approved cure, but there's a disapproved cure, hydroxychloroquine. Again, WHO says there's a possible side effect of chloroquine. For WHO, it is better to die than to live with the side effect of chloroquine. I think it's illogical. Okay. Please share this post. Very important. And also drop your comments as well. Precious Ama Betari it says it was a global fraud all along, but the truth is out in the open. Okay, so she's of those who feel that there's a clandestine conspiracy to kill the world. Effort in this says this woman is correct. The Icon Studio, my brother man, he's a sharer of this post. Thank you very much. Those of you who are not sharing this post, share this post to everybody watching. Please share this post. Very important. Icon Studio, thank you. It says, Kofi, good evening. So President Trump even watched Dr. Stella. Still went to say he didn't know where the woman came from. Does it mean that he hate African intellectuals? As far as I'm concerned, there must be an anatomy of truth in what she's saying. Okay. God's Gift says this woman get malfunctioning chips. I love her, Joe. Samina Danielson Hart says pharmaceutical companies are trying to discredit her claims because to them it's a huge business venture. Okay, let's move on. Doc, I want you to listen to this as we try and get to hear Dr. Stella Immanuel's other claims as well on some other issues. So let's listen, and we'll be back on the other side. Please stay with us.
Okay.
The hidden one are those that they come and sleep with you in the dream, but you don't realize it, you don't know. You have a spirit husband, but you don't know you have one. Most of the time, some people get up from sleep feeling aroused. You don't know why. Or you get up, sometimes you feel bloated. You get up, you went to sleep feeling good, you got up from sleep just feeling funny. But you don't know why. These have touched you. And they take the dream away, you don't remember it. So you will get up from sleep and look at something.
In the last 24 to 48 hours, there's a news story that came out through social media that has since been taken down. And because it was taken down, it has caused a lot of controversy. Where a group of doctors were trying to share positive results that they experienced treating patients with somewhat controversial treatments for COVID-19. One doctor stood out above the others, and she actually became kind of the face for this story, Dr. Stella Immanuel. It's difficult for us to evaluate the claims that she successfully treated 350 patients, but the media began to evaluate her character, and these other stories started to pop up, resulted in some interesting headlines that, on first glance, I was most certain that it was another example of media sensationalism, twisting words out of context. After landing on her YouTube channel, I quickly discovered her expertise extended far beyond that of the medical field into the field and the study of demon intercourse with humans and the negative repercussions that happen because of that. And I found a plethora of videos that contained her unfiltered viewpoint.
Before you go and marry some Nephilim, check their belly button. Hallelujah. Check their belly button before you marry them. They might not be human.
But I don't want to do any injustice for speaking for this lady. So hear her own words.
Deliverance from spirit husbands and spirit wives. And people are like, what is spirit husband and spirit wife? Does that really exist? Is it scriptural? Of course.
At first I was worried that she was only speaking in metaphor because, after all, she is a very religious woman. But to my surprise, she was actually speaking in literal terms. She was speaking in literal terms of how women's reproductive issues are, in most cases, the result of demon spawn.
Serious gynecological problems, most of them are caused by the spirit husband, spirit wife. They are responsible for serious gynecological problems. We call them all kinds of names. Endometriosis, we call them molar pregnancies, we call them fibroids, we call them cysts. But most of them are evil deposits from the spirit husband. They are responsible for miscarriages, impotence, men that can't get it up.
You would think the damage of a woman's reproduction system is the worst possible thing that these demons can do, but it can get far, far worse.
I have been in deliverance ministry and I can tell you stories and we will not be done listening to them. We had a lady right here. She was sitting right there. She had been fantasizing about one of the movie stars. When she came to deliverance ground, during prayer, she started screaming. Her stomach was full, was pregnant. She started screaming. She was tearing off her clothes. She was screaming and screaming like she was in labor. And she said, this thing came out of me. Her stomach deflated. Right here. Real life.
But I'm a real doctor.
I can see why they made her the face of this movement, because where other doctors would be limited by their knowledge of science, where other doctors would be limited to scientific knowledge and their own experience, she approaches medical problems with a wider breadth of knowledge and how the world really works.
Most people believe that the spirit husband and the spirit wife, the incubus and succubus, they are the same spirit. They turn into a woman, then they sleep with a man and collect his sperm. Then they turn into a man and then they sleep with another woman and deposit the sperm and reproduce more of themselves. Because of the way they are, angels cannot reproduce. You understand what I'm saying? So they can use human beings to reproduce more Nephilims. And people will be like, nah, that's not possible. How can a spirit sleep with a human being and produce a child? That's not possible. Really? How was Jesus born? The Holy Spirit breathed on Mary and produced a child. And the devil figures, well, if God can do it, I can use it to multiply and produce evil seed. That is illegal.
So where do they come from? And why are they on earth?
These were what we call the Nephilims. These are called what? Nephilims. In those days, we had the angels that left their abode and came and lusted after women and produced a crossbreed. So the devil figured, if I can corrupt the seed, I can stop God's agenda.
Referencing one of the oldest textual books, a source of many scientific facts, is the Bible.
So God decided to destroy the world and start with the seed of Noah. When God destroyed the earth at that time, what happened? What happened to these 30-foot Nephilims that were walking the earth? Those giants. They got flooded, so their flesh, they could not really die. Because this, they got flooded and their flesh got pulverized. But what happened to the spirits? This mixed breed, there are still Nephilims around.
We just have to, pause at this point because there's a lot of information. Dr. Briggs, are you still there? Are you sure you're there?
I am. I'm here.
Okay, all right. You're a medical doctor. I know you also go to church, so I think you're well positioned to drop a comment on this. But if you're watching right now, that is the same Dr. Stella Immanuel. I'm not going to, I just want you to tell me what you think if you're watching. Do you think that her views, spiritual views or spirituality makes her look a bit detached from reality? Or you think that, yes, indeed, there's nothing wrong as far as, having spiritual views and being a doctor at the same time is concerned, especially if your spiritual views conflict with your medical, practice or your medical views as well. Dr. Briggs, what do you make of what Dr. Stella has said about demons producing children?
Well, everybody has the right to profess any religion and practice any religion and have beliefs and express such beliefs. But then, as a professional, you don't let that interfere with your work, your professional duty. I'm a Christian. I believe in miracles. I believe in all the supernatural things that happen or that have happened before. But I will never, under no circumstance, Will I be in my consulting room and the patient walks into my office and I'll tell you that your problem is spiritual? Never will I do that. Never. Because there is a distinction between my faith and my practice. Okay? Yes, you must distinguish that.
What if she receives a spiritual revelation about
now,
you?
you must first. I've not seen this video, but I would have loved to see a situation where whether or not she said these things she said in an official setting
she was
or
preaching.
in a religious setting.
No, she was preaching.
Okay,
there was a Mountain of Fire Miracles cloth on the pulpit, and then they did a chroma key, background, and then phone numbers and all that, and they were showing the slide of the scripture and all that. So it's a preaching setting.
Okay, if she said that in a religious setting, well, she has the right to do that, but she can't say that in an official setting at all. In a clinical setting, it is totally and absolutely unethical to say so.
Do you think having such views, I mean, especially as a doctor, I mean, like you said, it's her right to be spiritual and to practice a faith and her belief, but do you think that having such views as a doctor could interfere with her objectivity, in practicing her medical profession?
I've said that clearly, that she has a right to express any faith and any belief she has. Okay. But she can't do so under a clinical setting. It's unethical by the medical standards globally. Okay. All right? Mm-hmm. Irrespective whether you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, whatever it is, whatever religion you profess and practice, you don't let it, because medicine is science. Okay? And everything you say and do must be in line with your professional experience and knowledge, and it must be backed by science. Like I've used it in an instance before, that somebody can walk into my office and tell me I have fever, I have headache, I have abdominal pains and all that. And I can say, in my mind, I can suspect that patient has malaria. But I cannot for sure say you have malaria. I can say, I suspect you have malaria. Based on my suspicion, I want you to go and do a test, probably a malaria parasite test. When the result of the test is out and it confirms my suspicion, I now look at the test and I tell you, you have malaria because I have evidence to back up my suspicion. So it's no longer a suspicion again. It has been confirmed that you have malaria, and I'm going to give you treatment that is consistent with the treatment of malaria, and that is it. I cannot say that, oh, this is your headache. If you be your now which they pursue you. No. I will never say that under an official setting. But if I'm in my closet or I'm in the church, and I'm called upon to speak on a religious ceremony, of course, I can profess my beliefs and all that, and it's not wrong. Nobody can fault me. But when I am in an official setting as a medical doctor that I am, I cannot do that. It is wrong. But let me also let you know that what they are trying to do is a campaign of calumny against Dr. Immanuel, right? Say that's her name, Dr. Immanuel.
Okay, who is trying to do?
The people that are against what she has said, that she has used hydroxychloroquine, Zithromax, and zinc to treat 360 patients. They are not trying to tell you how she should not be trusted. How can a medical doctor say that somebody that has issues with fertility is a spiritual thing? Such a person cannot be of sane mind to come and tell you that she uses Zithromax and all. They are trying to discredit a person. Okay? So if she has done the A, B, C, D, that are not in consonance with the ethics of her profession, how then can you trust her that what she said is true?
But I mean, isn't that doc? Isn't that sorry? Okay, yeah. Okay.
If I lose my line of thought, okay. All right. Now the people, the powers that be, okay, they've also been opposing Donald Trump, because he has also advocated for the use of hydroxychloroquine since the advent of COVID-19 in the US. As early as February, March, he has been saying hydroxychloroquine is working and they were going to use it and all that, but he has been opposed. Okay, so imagine if the President of the United States of America can be opposed to that extent. Who is she? And if you look at the powers that are opposing, they have access to the media.
Okay.
And they can rubbish her, and that's exactly what they are doing.
Doc, now, you said it's a campaign of calumny. Fine. and that the idea is to discredit her. That if she has such views, especially in a place like America, which isn't as spiritual as Nigeria, because we know where we stand, or Africa, therefore she shouldn't be trusted. Now, but isn't that common sense?
What's not common sense?
The discrediting. Isn't it common sense that if somebody who is a doctor has these views, they probably could allow any maybe spiritual reason drive them, because it's not far. The truth is that the evangelical right in America, even those who are part of believers of QAnon, they even see Trump as a Messiah, and that the Bible spoke of him. And the far right, I'm not talking about all Republicans, but the very extreme right, they believe that even whatever they do, as far as they're doing it for the cause of the kingdom and for God and for Trump, is for God. And so those religious views could drive the actions of people who are supporters of Trump from a religious perspective or standpoint.
Now, the question you need to ask is, why is it that immediately she issued that press statement that she had used hydroxychloroquine and the other drugs to treat 360 COVID-19 patients? Why didn't these stories about her come up before now? Number two, why is it that the video that was posted that she conducted that interview was brought down on social media platforms within 48 hours? Why?
Yeah. Okay, because as far as the people who are talking about these are concerned, for a medical doctor or for medicine does not teach that demons cause what could miscarriage.
No. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the demon video. They are promoting that video now to ridicule her.
No. I'm trying to downplay the devil's advocate to give you reasons why that is possible. It's because they feel a medical practitioner should know better, and that even medical person will come and tell you that demons are the ones that are causing miscarriage. Then maybe her judgment cannot be trusted. And if your judgment cannot be trusted, then whatever you're putting out there, it's doubtful.
Now, that's one drawback for her to be caught.
Because I want to also point out that she tried to discredit Andrew Cuomo. She called him crazy. She called Cuomo of CNN crazy. She said that mad guy, and she was just talking carelessly.
Now, and then number two,
and then she called Fauci and so on, like they're not qualified. Maybe they are. She was just talking and insulting other people as well.
Now that's the point. That's one thing I also held against her, because if you want to make such give us such information, there are scientific channels. Since you have treated 350 patients with your regimen, you would have published it.
I was going to go there. I was going to go there.
Write your articles and have them published. Anybody that does not agree with you should go and carry out because the beauty about science is that it is reproducible.
Yes.
Because the process you use in arriving at your data will be clearly spelled out and published.
Yes.
So people will either validate or will negate your findings
that is where I was going
the same studies.
Yeah.
But she didn't do that. That's
350 people. First of all, the question I'm asking is, where did they get tested? Does she run a testing facility in her office, in her home? Then if they got tested, they now allow them to leave where they were and go home. Okay, when they left where they were and they went home, they were given some medications and all that to go, because some people have been at home treating themselves. And doc, people have been recovering from this thing. From coronavirus.
Yes.
At home, people have been recovering from it, not because there's a cure, because some people ask some very stupid questions sometimes. What did they use to cure them? They didn't cure them. They just had conditions that were brought about by this whole and then they attacked those conditions and they got better. So you've raised the point that if she cured people of COVID-19, then she should give statistics of the people, the names, their conditions, and then every other thing.
No, not really names. In scientific researches, we don't put names.
Oh.
But you would have followed the laid down scientific processes, procedure to publish your work and your findings. there are other findings.
Because she's been saying
she's
been saying a lot of things in abstractness, generalizing.
No. She has not published her work. You've made a claim. And we're in the middle of a global pandemic. You have made a claim that you have cured 350 patients, and you have used these drugs. These drugs that other people have also conducted a test and found out that it was not good, it doesn't cure COVID-19. You have now done a test. You would have just published your work, written your articles, published it in a renowned journal, a medical journal. The medical science world will look at it. They will critique it. Other people will carry out the same test using the same procedures you use. Probably the ones that said that the other research that were done, they use a different procedure. Now they will not follow your procedure to see if they will arrive at the same answer. And like I have said, the beauty of science is that if the procedures are followed, you must arrive at the same answer. That's what it was about. Okay, so if somebody does a work in the US, and I have a doubt, or I want to validate or otherwise the research of that, the publication, what I'm going to do is to follow the same processes that the person said the person employed in the research. I follow it, and I am expected to get the same answer. If I don't get the same answer, then I critique it. I'll publish my work, and I'll say this person did a work and said he arrived at the same answer. Me, I did the same work, and my results are different. And you publish it. What is it? Until people come to have a consensus. Okay, that is how it works. Somebody will publish an article, and every final article is accepted hook, line, and sinker. People must probe it. People must critique it. Okay, and confirm it that it is true, but it is implemented. That is how science is. But I don't think she has published her work. She has not published it. Just came on air and issued a statement, and that is why she's not even being taken seriously. Okay. But my personal opinion is, hello, are you there?
Yes, go on, please. Go on. I can hear you.
Okay. My personal opinion is, we don't have a cure. Since she has claimed that she has used these medications to successfully treat 350 COVID-19 patients, let us also explore it. Let us also use it and see whether or not, because we use nothing. If we don't use it, people will still die. If we still use it and people still die, well, fine. At least we've tried our best, and we have found out that it doesn't work. That is my personal opinion. And
let
me round up my
before you lose your okay. All right.
Yes, and I've done a little bit of research on hydroxychloroquine, and I found out that it has some anti-inflammatory properties.
Anti what?
Anti-inflammatory properties.
Okay, that's hydroxy.
Yes, the hydroxychloroquine.
Okay.
That is the reason why it is also used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis and the SLE that I told you about, systemic lupus erythematosus. Okay, and other inflammatory conditions. The lungs is a primary site of infection of COVID-19. Once it enters the lungs, it stimulates an inflammatory reaction. The lungs and the alveolar spaces, the alveolar begins to, inflame. That is why, probably, it may have some messes. Quite recently, I don't want to mention the name particularly, I've just mentioned the class.
Okay.
Where they talked about the use of a corticosteroid.
What?
I would want to mention a corticosteroid drug.
Okay.
That they believed has played a role in reducing the inflammation of the lung parenchyma. Okay, and improve symptoms that people that are giving those drugs that were on ventilators before, within 24 to 48 hours, they start breathing on their own and they remove them from the bed. Breathing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Those that are on ventilators, is for assisted respiration.
Okay.
So, but when the studies were done, and they found out that those patients that are in critical conditions and they are administered this corticosteroid drug, their symptoms improved within 24 to 48 hours, and they were taken off the ventilators.
Okay.
So that what the corticosteroid does is also to reduce inflammation. Now I'm talking science. To reduce inflammation at the alveolar spaces. They have also used what we call non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. I don't want to mention the names so that people will not go and start abusing the drugs.
Okay.
I would have called the names.
Okay.
Now, I told you that in April, you know, the COVID-19 protocol states that once somebody dies of COVID-19, the person must be buried immediately without autopsy. Some Italian doctors decided to carry out autopsy on the dead bodies of COVID-19 patients.
Okay.
And they discovered that when they opened up the lungs, they discovered that there are micro clots.
Micro what?
That blocked blood clots.
Okay, clots, okay.
That blocked the alveolar spaces. And the alveolar spaces are those spaces where that takes place.
Okay.
So they actually, patients out of COVID-19, most of them die because of respiratory insufficiency. There is hypoxia. There is reduced oxygen concentration in the blood because of these micro clots that blocks the alveolar spaces. So they started using these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications to make the blood thinner, more watery, so that it doesn't clot and block the alveolar spaces that will lead the patients into difficulty in breathing, that will require use of ventilators and all that. Okay, so why I'm saying all these things is because
I should have a medical degree by the time you're done with this conversation. But continue.
So why I'm using all these instances is to let you know that these medications that are used are all anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
And these anti-inflammatory medications have been found out to be helpful to patients with COVID-19.
Doc.
And hydroxychloroquine has anti-inflammatory properties.
Okay.
So maybe there is a little chance that it could be beneficial. I'm just saying maybe
okay,
there is a little chance because of the anti-inflammatory properties that hydroxychloroquine has. It can benefit, maybe it could benefit those that have COVID-19.
Doc, please hold the thought. Let's go to another video. I want all of you to watch. And this is a Nigerian doctor. Since he's a doctor, he can speak doctor to you. You understand doctor. As Dr. Briggs. Me and then those who are watching, most of them who are not medical people, we don't understand the language called doctor language. So let's go over to this video and then we'll be back. Please watch.
Hello, I'm Dr. Stella Immanuel. I'm a primary care physician in Houston, Texas. You know, I actually went to medical school in West Africa, Nigeria, where I took care of malaria patients, treated them with hydroxychloroquine and stuff like that. So I'm actually used to these medications. I'm here because
You know what, I won't bore you with the entire video, the full video. I'm sure you probably already saw it. This is not a typical video that I would normally do on this channel, but I needed a platform to, share my opinion about the video about this doctor, Texas-based physician, Dr. Stella Immanuel. Again, I don't want to bore you by watching everything that she said in the video. I'm sure you already saw it, but I will quickly recap on some of the things that she said. She talked about the use of hydroxychloroquine. She talked about specifically about the fact that she treated these patients in the clinic. She talked about the use of masks. She talked about also the reopening of schools and stuff like that. First, as a Nigerian, as a West African, even I'm not sure if she's Nigerian, but she went to school in Nigeria. I'm quite disappointed, and that's me just being frank, and I'm sure a lot of people are. Not that I don't get where, some of the frustration might come from, because I believe this whole the response to coronavirus has been incredibly politicized, and you have one side that tends to exaggerate a lot of things. Not that this is not bad as it is, but pandering to a particular spectrum of the population, they tend to exaggerate a lot of the story. And you have another side that tends to minimize the reality at the expense of people's lives, and people are dying, and people have been dying, and to try to make little of it and just look for reasons to hide the truth in a way, also catering to another portion of the population. So because of that political divide and all of that mess, it's incredibly frustrating for some of the people in the medical community about where we go with the response to coronavirus. But thankfully, we've got science, and science is not about emotions. It's not about personal opinion. It's about evidence, reproducibility of that evidence, and just to go back on some of the things you said about, for example, about hydroxychloroquine. Not that we didn't know about hydroxychloroquine, and not that a lot of physicians didn't try hydroxychloroquine. I did a video on this channel probably about 2 months ago, maybe in the beginning, because being in New York in the real thick of it, it was a incredibly stressful period where we're really just trying everything and really nothing was working. And there was that study. Well, it wasn't necessarily a randomized controlled trial, the standard that would normally engage in medicine today. But there was that study from France that talked about using hydroxychloroquine, using azithromycin, and things like that. But one thing we were able to pick up from whatever information that we were getting clearly was, there was no ICU data on these in that particular study, and some of the other subsequent studies that talked about hydroxychloroquine, there was no real ICU data that said that patients that were really, really, really sick got any benefit from it. And also, what we know about coronavirus, most of the time, a lot of patients will get better, with supportive treatment. And it wasn't necessarily that there was a cure or something that you were giving to them that made them go better. You just had to support them through that process. So to come out and say first that you treated patients in the clinic and they all got better, and because of that, that applies to all situations without clear evidence. At least now we've gotten subsequent trials that have shown that maybe there's really nothing efficacious about using hydroxychloroquine. We use hydroxychloroquine in a lot of our inpatients, admitted patients, ICU patients, and there was no real. Just these are anecdotes. Again, these were just real cases. There was no particular improvement, and for somebody to say, "Oh yeah, I tried it in my patient in the clinic, and because of that, it should work. Because of that, they're fake doctors trying to kill people," it was just incredibly frustrating to watch the video. Especially when you know the reality, and so that's one part of it. Science is about evidence, and that's what we hope to practice in medicine today, and it applies to all parts of medicine, whether it's advancement in treatment of cancer or advancement in management of all sorts of diseases. So if we base what we do on evidence, on science, it's very irresponsible for somebody who's in the medical community to discard that science because their argument supports a narrative that may be favored, by some in the political spectrum. It's very irresponsible. It puts lives at risk, and for a Nigerian, for a West African physician myself, it's very disappointing, and that's one thing I would like to say about that. The second thing she talked about also, wearing masks and things like that. That's another very. I know there's been a lot of debate about whether to wear a mask or not, and again, that has been incredibly politicized at the expense of people's lives. But what we know so far, not to say that masks will 100% protect you, nobody's saying that. But we're saying that to be able to get through this whole process for all of us, and a lot of countries have benefited from this. To get through this process, we have to limit the spread. And there's still a lot of asymptomatic, potential asymptomatic spread. And because of this, if we, encourage people to wear the mask, it will limit that. If they have droplets, it doesn't spread, potentially stays with them. it just helps us get through this thing faster. And it's clear that a lot of the mistakes that we've made about whether to wear a mask, about whether to initially shut down and things like that, a lot of people have paid for that with their lives. And when stupidity like this comes up, animated, it's just incredibly sad and frustrating because people are dying. She's saying nobody needs to die, but people are dying, and a lot of those people are.
Yes, indeed, we're back. We could go on and on and on and on, and we don't have too much time left. I have to allow my guest go back to his business because it's almost 11 p.m. And those of you who are watching as well, that's a Nigerian doctor, Fatai Oluyade, medical doctor, who himself said he's disappointed, that the ladies in Nigeria, and even said that's only she is. But the important points he raised, number one, is science is usually built on evidence, not feeling. And then number two, the way she was talking about people should, wearing masks and all that, she went a bit political. What are your thoughts on what he said, Dr. B.A. Briggs?
He echoed almost everything I'd said, except for one or two. In my speech, I said science is evidence-based, and I said the beauty of science is that it is reproducible wherever you find yourself, wherever a scientific research is done and published. Somebody anywhere can reproduce it and expect to get the same result if the same processes were followed. And he also said what I said, and he said that patients get well even with supportive treatment. Supportive treatment is like if the person has headache, you give medications for headache. If the person has fever, you give medications for fever. If the person has muscle pains, you just do all that like supportive management and expect the body to take care of the virus itself. So most people have recovered like that. Like I said, 90% of patients will come down irrespective of treatment. Then the major thing he talked about that I didn't say much about was the abuse of her colleagues. When she was talking, she said fake doctors want to kill American people. She also went as far as abusing Dr. Fauci, Dr. Gupta, and other people. That was quite unethical and unprofessional of her. And also, what he said that I didn't mention was that she said that there was no need to wear face mask. Of course, that's not correct, because whatever the case may be, the use of face masks, of course, will be reduced the spread of COVID-19. So I'm in total alignment with what he said, but with a little bit of caveat. That's my personal opinion, like I've said, that this hydroxychloroquine, from my research, it does have a little bit of anti-inflammatory properties. If the corticosteroids that was studies were conducted on are found to be helpful for patients.
But Doc, we had all that. We had all that. Now, a licensed medical practitioner saying, that people don't even need to wear masks simply because she administered hydroxychloroquine on some patients, and they got better. In her words, they got better. That is worrying to me.
It is worrisome because you are sending a very wrong signal.
And it's almost like you just talk anything, because first of all, you said
if you watch the video, you watch the video very well, at some point she became very emotional and political.
If they allowed her,
she was emotional. And there is no emotion in science in medicine.
All. That's why for those people like you and I who think through things and don't just allow emotions drive us, we really we try to see through. You looked at both sides. It's worrying, really. She said,
"It is.
I administered hydroxychloroquine on more than 350 people, and they got better. What is got better, sir? What is got better? I want you to see, sir. In my church, the church I attend in Port Harcourt, the pastor is not looking for anybody's money. He does not want to go and put your video on TV to get more people to come to his church. That's fraud. That is fraud. He doesn't want to do that. My pastor, that's why I go to that church, would tell you to go to the hospital and check yourself. Let them run the test on you to be sure that you've been healed. And then you can come and give your testimony in church and said, I went and they checked me and I was healed. He said, my pastor keeps saying something, you can't help God. God does not need you to help him so people would love him more. You can't help him. He doesn't need you. So in this vein, What is administered hydroxychloroquine on people, zinc, and then the other one, and they got better? Sir, I'm not a medical practitioner, but at least I go school. I can't just sit down and say they got better. A medical doctor that's saying that is a serious doubt, sir. And I'm sure you'd agree with me.
Yeah.
A medic person where go school to study medicine, we graduate, get license to come and open. It's like me now going to school and say, I just say something and they should give me my degree when I don't write my project and then do my research and then have people came to you, they didn't go to do test again to get a test and tell, okay, now I'm positive, and then you're now saying they should not wear masks. So I'm coming. No, but you said now, you Dr. Briggs also said that this hydroxychloroquine can, it can be administered to make the blood thin and all that, the lungs and all that. Sir, is there a difference between a cure for a particular virus and then supportive treatment that can assuage symptoms?
If there is a difference
between a cure for a virus, and then supportive care or treatments or relievers.
There is a very big difference. Number one difference is that hydroxychloroquine is not an antiviral agent. And it is only an antiviral medication that can have antiviral effects on COVID-19. Okay? So, it is not antiviral medication, so it cannot kill the virus. The aim,
so can you say that again, please? For those who are watching, let me see how many of them are still here. Okay, 17. The rest have gone. I want you to say that for them to hear. He said it cannot cure a virus.
No, hydroxychloroquine cannot cure a virus. It's not an antiviral agent.
But the woman said, Dr. Briggs, you did not hear her. She said this virus has a cure. The cure is hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax. That's what she said.
No, that's not true. Because
but she said, should I play it for you?
No, she don't say that. She did say that. But the point is, if at all hydroxychloroquine will have a place in the management of COVID-19, it will not be curative, it will be supportive.
But she said that the virus has a cure.
No, she's wrong.
Because
she's wrong.
The fear, sir.
I know I've said this before, and I've said that most viral illnesses are self-limiting. Self-limiting in the sense that even without treatment, the body will take care of it. Even Ebola. So basically, what they did for Ebola patients even back then was supportive management. They were bleeding from orifices, they were passing watches through and all that. They were just giving blood transfusion and fluid replacement therapy. That's what we were doing. If they had fever, they gave them fever. The same thing for Lassa fever.
So is there a possibility? Because what the WHO and even the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are saying is that there is no specific antiviral treatment for the virus. In other words, there is no cure for COVID-19 because COVID-19 is coronavirus, sir.
Those are my opening statements. I said there was no cure. As of now, WHO has not announced any cure. There's no vaccine yet.
Yeah, you said that. You said that you were very. But I'm not talking about now the drug hydroxychloroquine and the virus. Does it cure the virus?
It doesn't kill the virus. It cannot kill the virus.
But she's saying it. Okay, so basically,
it's not true.
So basically, she's just spewing rubbish. She's spewing rubbish because she said it has a cure. They should open schools. She even left her field now. She entered politics. She said they should open schools while they're locking everywhere up. They should open schools because, sir, the danger, Dr. Briggs, the danger. And what people are what people are concerned about, sir, and what people are afraid of is that people will now resort to saying, "Oh, I can just go out there and contact it, and there's hydroxychloroquine. I'll just take it and I'll be fine." What if the thing that you have, the symptom or the complication you have is not what hydroxy would solve, or goes beyond what doctors can handle, sir?
Come again, what did you say?
I'm saying the fear by a lot of people, medical people, is that people will become careless. They would now say, "Oh, I can just go to the beach. I can go out, no social distancing. I don't need to use sanitizers, wash my hand, or use mask, because there's already something that I will take as a pill, and I'll be okay." That is the fear, and because they would say, "Oh, there's already a cure," as she said. And then what happens is if the complications arise, and then the hydroxy that you're hoping on is not what you need at that particular point for the kind of complication that is arising. Okay, or maybe a lot of people are reporting to the hospital and there's a shortage, or maybe there are no bed space and they have to now look at who are they going to, because they've been doing it before. They look at this person's younger, you're older, we need to give attention. No, those things are so people will be careless.
Exactly, and that's why you don't need to, as a medical professional, in during this pandemic, to make some very careless statements. Okay, like the 3 drugs you mentioned, the hydroxychloroquine, is that an antiplasmodial drug for the treatment of, mainly for the treatment of malaria? Okay, then Zithromax is an antibiotic. It's not an antiviral agent. Antibiotics are for bacteria. Okay, again, they are drugs against bacteria. Okay, then vitamin C is a vitamin, like the name is a vitamin. What's a vitamin? Do you understand? So all of them, they have no place in against virus. It's not for virus. They're not antiviral agents. So, but I'm saying that if their use will have a place in the management of COVID-19, it will be basically supportive. Like when we see people that have been admitted in isolation centers, most of them recovering and coming out. What do they do for them? Supportive management.
Okay, sir. So is it possible that a whole Oxford University? So now you're saying that hydroxychloroquine cannot cure coronavirus, and the woman lied. Is it possible that a whole Oxford University will conduct a study and then lie in that study to favor maybe vaccine producing companies? Because Oxford University did a study and found out that the drug hydroxychloroquine and the other combinations was not effective against COVID-19 in patients that received treatment in the hospital.
I've had an experience. Maybe I shouldn't just say it on air, but yes, I can say that it is possible that such research findings can be influenced by very powerful corporate organizations. Yes, that's not to say that the one that Oxford did was influenced. I'm not saying that, but you asked, is it possible? I'm saying yes, it is possible, because I've had an experience with one of my consultants. I don't want to mention his name. When I'm back in the school, when he was involved in a research.
Where?
The research was done in 3 African countries. In Nigeria, the research was done in Nigeria. One was done in Kenya. One was done in South Africa. No, I'm saying that it is possible. Now listen.
No, be Africa.
He was given money to change his results and his research findings. And he said he cannot do that. Unfortunately, the South African and the Kenyan researchers took the money and tailored their research findings to suit the pharmaceutical company. They went to Italy to do their presentation. He was the only one that gave the actual result, not knowing that there were some other research institutions in Europe that had similar findings with him.
Okay.
And that was how he was vindicated.
Okay.
So the other researchers, they came and they felt ashamed. They started apologizing that this is the result he had was the same they had, but they were influenced to change it. So yes, they can. The powerful
but this was Africa, not Oxford University.
My brother, like you don't understand the corporate politics.
No, I understand. Doc, we have to go.
I'm not saying that.
What about serious risks and risk of serious side effects from the use of hydroxychloroquine? Risk of serious side effects from the use of hydroxychloroquine, including renal and liver damage. Where also we heard that people who had the U.S. Food and Drug Administration warned against the use of the drug outside a hospital setting because of possible risks to the heart, from taking the drug. And then remember that some people went and after Trump said, hydroxychloroquine can cure coronavirus. A lot of people went to buy drugs, and some people had issues in America. They fell ill, even in Nigeria. If you remember that, yeah. And I mean, yes. Okay, let's leave America. There are many countries around the world who want their citizens to be alive. None of them have come out publicly to say they've finished testing and this is it. This is the drug. Everybody's still conducting tests. I mean, is it possible the whole world, all the governments of the world, all the scientists in the world, are ganging up against all of us? Is it possible?
No, it's not possible. People want to see but like when this Madagascar CVO have concussion was. People, Nigerians clamor for it. Go and import it and bring it. Let us see if it will help us. Because people are desperate. When people are desperate like this, anything that like my people will say, when a man is drowning, whatever he sees, he wants to explore the possibility. What I say, yes, he wants to hold on to it. Okay, that's it. So for me, because I did a little bit of research, on the hydroxychloroquine, and the only area I saw that it may have a little benefit, not because it's going to kill the virus, no, because of its anti-inflammatory properties.
Okay.
That's the only reason that I see that maybe there is a slight chance that it could be a little bit of benefit to people because of the inflammation that occurs in the lung parenchyma due to COVID-19.
Okay.
That is it.
Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, man, is just been, saying coronavirus is not real, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't work in a mask. He's just trying to be the Trump of South America. And then he now started touting hydroxychloroquine. He even had press conference, they put it on the table. And guess what? The man came down with coronavirus. And hydroxy could not cure him because he had coronavirus. People are even taking it to prevent, because, of course, this Dr. Stella Immanuel said, the likes of Fauci are taking hydroxy to prevent themselves from getting the virus. That's why they're not working out without masks. Fauci wears masks, by the way. He wears Washington Nationals mask. That's why they even called him to throw the pitch, when they began their baseball season. But that's by the way. She's saying that they are taking. So if people are taking it to prevent themselves from even getting it, how come Jair Bolsonaro, even to treat, got coronavirus and he had to go into isolation? Brazilian president and he caught it. The man was vocal. And he just got the virus. That's the question I wish the female doctor could answer. But Doc, you want to say something about that? Jair Bolsonaro was everywhere. He was shaking people. He was not wearing, socially distancing himself. He was not, and then he got the virus. Aye, my airtime don't finish. I think, is it that time or it's network? I'll call him back. We have to go though. This gist is really sweet. Let's read some messages here, because the Brazilian president caught the virus despite all that he was saying. You can just do some research. Okay, Dr. Briggs. So before you go, final words. I mean, the Brazilian president Jair Bolsonaro was making so much noise, and he was touting hydroxychloroquine, and then he came down with the virus.
The truth is COVID-19 is everywhere. It's not going anytime soon. For now, there is no cure for COVID-19. Researchers are at different stages of development of vaccines and anti-viral medications against COVID-19 until such a time when the findings are out and are in the affirmative. COVID-19 is real, and you must follow the health advisories. Use your face mask. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Maintain social distancing. Go out when it's absolutely necessary to do so.
Okay,
and
Doc.
Avoid going to public places, crowded places, as much as possible.
In fact, those who are touting, the far right in America and other parts of the world, I know there was a point when they were also saying coronavirus is fake. It's not. There's nothing like the virus. Now they are coming up with a cure for what they said was not existing. And was there any time in Nigeria that hydroxychloroquine was used to treat malaria?
No, I don't know. I don't know if there was any time.
I'm not about chloroquine. I'm saying
used.
hydroxy, that people will go to hospital and doctors just give hydroxychloroquine.
No. I don't think so. But we have used.
But this doctor says she was in Nigeria, she was in West Africa, and she used to treat patients with hydroxychloroquine for malaria.
Maybe she was referring to chloroquine because chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine, they belong to the same class of medication, so it can be used interchangeably.
Okay, all right. Doc, I want to thank you very much for your time. It's been very interesting having you. You're always a delight to be interviewed, and we want to thank you very much for your time. It's been a very interesting conversation.
Thank you, Kofi.
I like how you gave points for and against, and it's just giving us a wider perspective.
Yes, of course.
But of course, you ended by saying that there is no cure for COVID-19.
No, there's no cure. There's no. We can't mince words about that. There's no cure.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Please, Kofi, next time, just make it 1 hour, please. Let's not
I'm
exceed
sorry.
1 hour.
I'm sorry. We've gotten 1 hour. Oh, it's only 1 hour and about 30 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I checked and it was 1 hour and 1 minute, and then it led to another thing. Really sorry about that. But thank you very much for your understanding.
It was an exciting one. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for understanding. Dr. B.A. Briggs is a public health physician. He's with the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education. And maybe next time he'll tell us about his experience with the COVID-19 patients and stuff like that, if he's allowed to do that. I want to thank all of you for your time, all your comments on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. I want to thank all of you for your comment. Okay. Ruben Izu is here. Oh, B.A. Briggs joined as well. Ruben, how are you doing? Jude Aham is shared the Click to Houston interview that's on YouTube. All right. Uchiaka Nadoze says she mentioned 3 drugs, not only hydroxy. Okay. Yunus Ayaw is still sharing a video. No problem. Feel free. God's gift to Onwajuku is still laughing. I don't know what you're laughing at. Graham Pepple, good evening to you. Okay, you said I should ask God's gift. I should ask the doctor how I can prophylax on chloroquine without itching. I don't know what he want to give medical advice or on here, but I would say he's watching. He's reading the comments, so I'm sure he would see your question. He might DM you. Godson Wabagi says, for me, Dr. B.A. Briggs nailed it. It's a campaign of calumny from whoever is opposing her claims. I concur to all he said. He also said that the woman lied when she said there was a cure for coronavirus, that this drug combination of hydroxy and zinc and others does not cure the virus. It doesn't. Okay, but anyway, God's gift to Oluchi Wachuku says she's deep. Humanity can never get a hang on this. It is reality, though. Ethelbert Okpara says there's an element of truth in her claim, especially when you consider Nigeria's approach to solving the problem. What is the element of truth? I don't know. What is the element of truth? All of you. See, she's a medical doctor. She knows what happens in practice. She said she saw a study. She read one study. She couldn't even cite the studies. I read one study. Is it the studies you read, or is it that you were using it in Nigeria, or that you used it on your patients? You can chronicle what you said. What you did, you can chronicle it and publish it so that others can even take advantage of it. She didn't put anything down on paper. And then she said, and I quote, "This virus has a cure. The cure is HYDROXYCHLOROQUINE, zinc, and Zithromax." But the doctor here just said that doesn't cure the virus. These are not antiviral drugs. They may constitute supportive care, and can assuage the symptoms and people can get better. What proof then do we have that those people should be treated? Because some people would not even without treatment. Truthfully, some people would even without treatment have the virus and they get better unknowingly. This doctor said it some months ago on this program. So how then do we know that those that she administered this combination on, that the drug had an effect? It wasn't as if they were just got better. How do we know? We have people who have the virus, they will actually go home and just rest and take care of themselves. They were going to get better. We have people who have this virus and they were presenting programs on TV from the house. We have people who had this virus and just went on a break, and then they just took some medications and they got better. So nobody is saying there are no medications, but cure for coronavirus. Because the danger is people will get careless because they just feel that, we just take some drugs, we swallow it, and then we're fine. There is no cure for the virus. And that is a fact. You could administer and get some relief. You could attempt to intervene and assuage the symptoms, and people can get better. But to cure the virus itself, and would the whole world be lying? I mean, you have at least one doctor who supports this view would have, or group of doctors would have, they had a meeting of doctors there. They could have come together. All those doctors who were they could have come together and published something. Put in the Lancet or some other journal, or just release it online, have your own journal. They could have published something. You know, if you want to fight this battle, it's not saying, oh, I administered hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax, and it got better. What is they got better? What is it got better? There's nothing on paper. And science is about facts. That's why when we take drugs, we read the information on it to know what we are taking. It's about facts. I mean, if you've done these things, all those doctors who are there, why can't they come together? And nobody wants to die. You want to die? I don't want to die. Put it together, structure it. You went to school for this now. And just push and wear masks, they should open schools. What does that have to do with your profession? There's a lot that is going on. There's a battle to ensure that somebody gets elected in 2020 as president of America. And Breitbart and all these guys are the ones that are promoting such videos. And so one of the things they do, they misinform a lot. Alternative facts is what they call it. A lot of lies. It's unfortunate. But people are vulnerable, gullible, and then they create a fake enemy, who they call fake news and CNN. And then they say these are the enemies. And then they lie, and then all of you just start falling for these things. Don't be brainwashed. Don't be brain dead. Don't take anything like on the surface. Look around. Ask yourself some simple questions. Simple questions. Is it possible that all the doctors in the world would be ganging up to kill all of us? Is it possible? All the governments? Is it possible? Is it possible? I beg, make a drink water, mind my business. So I want drink water. I want to thank all of you for your time. My name is Kofi Bartels. For now, I'm just going to drink water and mind my business, and I suggest you do the same. Till next week, Monday, when I come back, my job here is done. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. And maybe you can also join me in drinking water and minding your business. Stay safe. No do follow. Stay safe. All right? Do the right things. Because the danger is that people are going to be careless because they feel there's a drug they can just buy and swallow and they'll be fine. It doesn't work like that. That's the danger. So drink water and mind your business. Good night.